What is the universe like before The Force Awakens? Hello, universe. This is Knights of Outer Ren, to the stars, the wars, and beyond. This podcast is an offshoot of another podcast, greatest Star Wars podcast in the world. But this time, we want to cover more than Star Wars, or at least have the opportunity to cover more than Star Wars in the future. We're fans of many different movies, many different TV shows, but yet we feel like we were all brought together by Star Wars, and that will be probably our central focus, and yet we will discuss other things in the future. And yet, the first one that we're going to do, and probably the second episode, will be fully focused on Star Wars because this is the week The Force Awakens is released. And so we gathered many people together to discuss what was the universe like before The Force Awakens. The topics will be, how did you get introduced to Star Wars? Who's your favorite character? How do you rank the movies? What is your anticipation level going into The Force Awakens? And what is the box office take going to be that first week? Well, let me see who's with us. We have Trooper 5. What is your real name?
If you listen to my podcast, Magnus.
What is your real... No, to the audience, not to me.
Hey, I'm Tim, or like you said, Trooper 5 on Twitter.
He's so angry. So angry. It's all about him. We also have Josh.
My Twitter handle is Meselyn. Meselyn.
And then we have the Admiral.
Well, actually, I am at Thrawn Kill on Twitter. I do go by Nick in the real world.
Why? Thrawn Kill is so much cooler. I would just walk around just being like, I'm at Thrawn Kill. Just call me that.
It doesn't play well at the DMV for some reason. I'm not sure why.
We have Katie Peters. What is your Twitter username?
This ginger_KT.
Oh. And we have Johnny Grasso with us. Johnny Grasso, what is your Twitter handle?
Johnny_Grasso14, and Grasso spelled Grasso.
And Julia, what is your username?
I'm super villainist. SuperVillainist. It's not super villainous. It's super villainous. Like yeah, with a T. With a T.
And Jared Jones, what is your username, brother?
My username is Joaquin Slowly. That's JoaquinSlowly.
What? Okay.
Joaquin Slowly.
Yeah, so we're going to start with Nick. What was your introduction to Star Wars like?
I know for a fact that it is my parents, my mom and dad, who did introduce me to Star Wars. It was The Empire Strikes Back was the first movie I did see, Star Wars movie, in the theater. I subsequently did see Jedi, of course, which ended up being my favorite of the three. Anytime I could watch that movie, I was watching that movie. I grew up as an only child, moved around quite a bit, and I didn't have a lot of good set friends, so Return of the Jedi became my friend, my best friend for quite a long time. I probably wore through about 5 tapes. Never got to see it on Betamax, but just the VHS continuously. Like I said, I wore through probably 5 or 6 sets of the tapes.
You mentioned Empire and Return of the Jedi. What happened to A New Hope?
I actually didn't get to see A New Hope till later on in the 80s, till probably 85 or 86, because it wasn't released in the area that I lived in the theater, and until my parents got it on VHS, which probably wasn't until about 86 or 87. So maybe that has something to do with the level where I hold it at in Star Wars lore for me, per se. But right. I don't hold anything against the movie at all. I think I'm glad it exists because we wouldn't have anything else that
Do you remember what you thought, though? Like, because you had then seen Empire and Return of the Jedi. Do you remember what you thought once you saw A New Hope?
Once I saw A New Hope, I really can kind of say that I got it. I got the why it was such a great film and why people loved it so much. I think the moments at the end, the medal ceremony, the music getting at the end, and then along with the end of Jedi, it really kind of those moments peaked about the same for me, and they felt about very similar, and so it made it very easy to embrace A New Hope and really kind of pull it into, I guess, what would say is my canon.
So, Josh, tell us about your introduction to the Star Wars. Were you a grown man? Was it last week?
No, see, I grew up in an interesting time. I was born in 1989, and so it was after the original trilogy, but right before the prequel trilogy. I got introduced when they actually re-released them in theaters in the mid to late 90s.
97, right?
Yep, 97. And ironically, what happened was Sesame Street Live had come to town, and my mom was talking to my dad, and she says, you know, Josh is too old to see this now. Why don't you take him to go see a movie or something? So my dad goes, oh, well, Star Wars is out. Why don't I go take him to see that? Okay. I hadn't heard of it. I hadn't seen anything about it. I was just like, oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah. So I go with my dad to see it to the theater. The theater we went to see it at is still in operation too.
Wow.
It was myself, my dad, and 3 other people in the room. And what hooked me was when they get to the cantina and Ben chops the guy's arm off. And I swear to you, me as an 8-year-old, chop the guy's arm off, blood everywhere. I screamed cool at the top of my lungs. From there, it was over. It was hooked.
Trooper 5, please tell me, what was your introduction to Star Wars like?
Well, the year I don't even remember just because it's something that's been a part of my life for a long time. I can't like pinpoint it to really one time. It's just kind of always been around. Mm-hmm. It's a family thing for me. I'd say mainly my father was one of those guys who was standing in line in 1977 to see it a couple times, if not more than that.
Right.
And yeah, so it's always been around for me. And about what I would say, I've always been a big fan of it. It's always been one of my favorite movie series around, if not my favorite. But I didn't get to the full level of nerdness that I am now until probably about like 5 years ago, when I really started getting deeper into the EU. It's kind of funny, actually, because the first book I ever read was Darksaber by Kevin J. Anderson, and I completely despised and hated it completely. But for some reason, there was something about it, just the concept of there's more to these stories than what happened in the movie that kept me going. And then after that, I transitioned to the Timothy Zahn novels, which were the complete opposite for me. I love those so much. I wish that they were movies. And yeah, it's just kind of been continuing ever since. So.
Did you get to go to the theater to see the special editions, or?
Because of scheduling and stuff, I was only able to see, I believe it was Empire.
So the prequels, though, you had to have seen them in theater when they came
absolutely.
out.
It was interesting because I didn't know what to expect fully. I kept up with the news with the casting, so when they cast Ewan McGregor, I remember hearing that news and getting excited about that. But I didn't know what to expect as far as the visuals. Of course, we knew how the story would eventually end up, but I wasn't sure where it was going to go. So it was very different. It took me a while to really kind of adjust to that completely different setting and time, but more I got used to it, the more I watched it, the more I looked into it, it made more sense to me. And I've overall I do like the original trilogy better. It's not saying I do not dislike the prequels at all, but I still enjoy them. I'm still very happy. I was telling on Twitter to Jesse from Making Star Wars earlier, I actually haven't been to a premiere for any of the Star Wars movies yet. I was supposed to go to the premiere for Revenge of the Sith.
What?
I got sick like the day before, and I couldn't even leave my house, which was like the worst experience for me.
Wow.
Which is partly why it really means a lot to me to be going this time next week for The Force Awakens and getting in line.
I
for that.
can
It'll be the first
imagine.
time.
Wow. That's crazy, man. So this is going to be real special for you.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Katie.
Well, I saw it as a kid. Like my mom, she showed it to like me and my sister, and like I liked it, but like I didn't realize that it was like I just thought it was like just those movies and like that was it. Like nothing else was ever gonna happen.
Now, wait, you saw all 6 movies?
I actually didn't see the prequels until I was in high school, so I was like 18 when I saw them.
That was like last week.
No, it wasn't. But so I saw them with Andy.
So you saw the original trilogy first, and then you saw the prequels.
Like really, we just watched A New Hope because I remember Empire Strikes Back. The Wampa scene always scared me. Jabba also scared me, so I didn't like watching that as a kid. I mean, like we would watch them, but then like I don't know, like not as much. But
so you guys just watched A New Hope over and over, or?
Well, no, I mean we watched all of them, but like that was the one we like watched the most. But
it was basically your parents who got you into it.
Yeah, mostly my mom. Yeah. Me and Andy, we started dating my junior year, and he was like, "Yeah, so I really like Star Wars. Like, will you watch it with me?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Like, why not? I've seen it." And he's like, "No, like, there's 3 other movies." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Like, sure, let's watch those." Because I was just like, "Why not? Like, he's cute. Why not?"
Andy, when you listen to this, that is the best pickup line ever. Hi, I'm Andy. You want to watch some Star Wars? Yes.
Yeah.
He's won Johnny's heart already.
Yeah, no, that's a fact, yeah.
My earliest memories of Star Wars and getting involved in it was playing with the toys. My dad was a huge science fiction fan, and he would get me the toys. Like, we'd build them together, play with them together. And then my earliest memory of seeing Star Wars was Return of the Jedi in the movie theater. And the only really memory I have, it's vague, is my father reading Jabba's dialogue to me. You know, because I was too young, I couldn't read. And I remember saying, like, "Oh my God, that guy's awesome. What's he saying?" And so he would read it to me. And I remember people getting angry because my dad was, like, getting into it. Yeah. You know, and then after that, it was just my life. It was a huge part of my life. People would go out and play, like, soccer. And I'd be like, "Nah, I'm going to play with the Falcon."
Aw, you had a Falcon.
I had a couple.
Julia, tell us about your introduction to the world of Star Wars.
So I was completely indoctrinated when I was a kid. I watched it with my dad. He really likes Yoda, so we watched a lot of The Empire Strikes Back, and he liked to do the Yoda voice. He still does do the Yoda voice.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he really thinks it's really charming. It's not.
Does he call you? Does he call you up on Hanukkah and be like, 8 days of little presents?
Yeah, except without the presents. Yeah. His presence is my present. I'm pretty sure I watched a lot of the original trilogy with my dad and my family. It was kind of big that way. And then I, started role playing and stuff as soon as we got the internet. Mm-hmm. So that was when I was around 11 or 12, and then it just kind of ballooned from there, and now I'm a full-fledged geek, or I have been for 20-something years. That's just the story of my life.
That's the story of your life? The story of Star Wars?
Yeah, the internet is basically the story of my life.
It consumes you.
It has.
Do what must be done. Jared?
My introduction to Star Wars is before my oldest memories, because I've mentioned it a few times in conversation recently, but when I was born, I was brought home from the hospital, and in my brother's bedroom, there were 2 beds, one with Richard Donner Superman sheets, and the other one with Cloud City sheets from Empire Strikes Back. And it's literally like the first thing I was set down on a set of Star Wars sheets when I was brought home. And I can't remember my first memory of it because it's literally like along with English and just like existing. It's always been there.
I was gonna call shenanigans on that if you remember. Like
childish amnesia.
Like, oh look, it's Bespin.
No, I cannot remember a damn thing about my first memory of Star Wars because it's just always been there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I credit my father originally for introducing my oldest brother to it, and then my 2 brothers for just loving it so much that it was always around when I was a kid. And I almost rediscovered it recently when Clone Wars dropped on Netflix. Like I was a super fan until college and after Attack of the Clones, not because I disliked it or anything, just because of life. I kind of fell apart of it, fell away from it. And when Revenge of the Sith came out, I didn't even see it in the theater because I was in Europe over the summer. I guess a year ago in May, I watched the whole thing. I just kind of binge watched it when I was nannying still.
Oh, so basically, The Force Awakens awakened Star Wars in you again.
It reawakened it, yes.
So I will just say my introduction to Star Wars was in 1977. I can't say I remember it, but everyone in Iceland knew that Star Wars was happening. We didn't get it until 78, until July of 78. And I don't remember exactly when I saw it, but I saw it at some point in 78. My grandfather took me to see it. I can't tell you anything like my I actually feel like I have a memory, but Jared and I were talking about this yesterday and then today a little bit online, just in links. But child amnesia, which is, you think that you remember things, you add memories, but really over time you forget things and you just supplant those memories with the ones that you've heard as an adult. So I have a vision of being in the theater, but I don't believe that actually happened. I just, it was probably different. But I know that after 1978, my life is different. Like, there were drawings that we had for a long time that I, like from 1980, of me just drawing TIE fighters and X-Wings. That's all it was. Like, everything I drew on my, I had these notebooks, and I would just draw TIE fighters and X-Wings. And that was like, for the next, 30 years of my life, that's all it was, TIE fighters and X-Wings. Unfortunately, we moved from Iceland, and I did not get to see Empire. So we saw Return of the Jedi in 1983, but I knew the whole Empire story, and I didn't see Empire until like 1986 or 87 or something like that on HBO. But it's always been part of my life, and I am older than all of you, so I actually remember like
Allegedly.
No, I am, but I remember the buzz around Star Wars, and I remember, even though Return of the Jedi is not my favorite of the movies, I think that experience would be way up there, and I'll get to that in a second. But who is your favorite character? If you had, like, gun to your head, one character you had to pick.
It's going to be Darth Vader. Something about his and the way he represented anger, and for me it really kind of struck a chord, and always will. That's something that I've had to deal with throughout my lifetime, and kind of progress therapeutically, shall we say?
Right.
Him and then getting this. That's why Revenge of the Sith is kind of high up on my list as well, because to seeing his progression, why he gets so angry, the things he could have prevented, the things he could not have prevented, but still him not being able to suppress that anger. Yeah, and then also the feeling of arrogance, of feeling of him when he feels he knows more than everybody on the council, and he feels that he knows what's right, but still he hasn't learned the life's ways, and so maybe that isn't the right way.
Yeah. Feeling entitled to things, I mean, that's something that happens in your teenage years and even in your 20s. You feel like, hey, my life is a trajectory, and I'm supposed to be doing this, and anyone who stands in my way is my enemy.
I mean, Han was cool. They were all cool. I had no issues with any of them. It's just Luke was the one I wanted to be.
Yeah.
I wanted to be the guy flying down the trench run and blowing up the Death Star. I wanted to be the guy learning from Yoda to be a Jedi, to be the guy facing Vader and the Emperor in the end.
All right. For this whole question, I'm going to copy basically everything that Josh said, because as he's saying everything, I'm just nodding. I completely agree with him on basically everything. Luke he's my favorite because he was the guy I wanted to be, not just because he was the hero. I didn't care about that. I liked his character the best, and seeing his progression, seeing him change from the guy who really knew nothing and was somewhat whiny in the beginning, transform into this like master who everyone goes to, and he's kind of got on a quest for greatness. But unlike Anakin, he didn't want it just because he wanted to be better. He wanted to do good for others. Not that Anakin didn't, but
I don't know. I like Luke and Leia a lot. I always like them.
What part of one?
I know, but it's hard to pick.
Come on.
Okay, fine.
In your heart,
Luke.
Okay.
Like in A New Hope, like how he just kind of feels like a loner and like just wants to get out of there, like go see the world. Like, I don't know, kind of like like as a kid, like I just wanted to like go.
Yeah.
away from here. So that was like relatable to me. And
I would have to say Han Solo,
What?
but it has changed. It has changed so much.
Oh yeah, same here.
When
you
I was
love Maul, right?
Oh, well, if you ask me my favorite prequel trilogy character, it's Darth Maul. Like, and I don't even have to think about it. That's never changed.
Wow.
But original trilogy, like, you know, when I was little, it was Luke. You know, when I got a little older and I thought I was a badass, it was Vader. And then when I realized that like Han really had his shit together, like I was like, you know what? It's all about Han Solo, man. But again, please, it can change tomorrow.
I like Palpatine. He's my favorite character.
You know, you're gonna be unique because no one else is gonna fucking say that.
Okay, when I was a kid, I actually really liked Darth Vader, like about maybe 5 or 6 or 7. I was like, oh man, this poor man, he's in this suit. I feel so bad for him. Like, what's going on with this guy? I mean, this is what happens when you're like the daughter of a psychiatrist and like a philosophy professor. You have these like really deep thoughts about like what is going on with this inner turmoil.
Does
like,
he have borderline personality disorder?
like who? No.
Because he's following a sociopath.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't necessarily. I don't know. Whatever. I don't even want to get into it. Please don't make me get into that.
I know.
Please.
Sorry.
Please
Go on.
please.
Go on.
But I remember my parents being kind of like upset because they were like, why doesn't she like Luke? Or like, why doesn't she like Han? And like, no, I liked Luke and Han. They were fine. I mean, Han was foxy. And I really liked Leia because she was a great, female role model, and I still really like Leia for that reason. She's probably my second favorite character. I like Palpatine because I always like there's something about, I think I like his cleverness, the unending cleverness. I mean, the dude started a war that, and I say this as like, somebody who was raised like kind of like sort of a Marxist liberal, but for some reason, the idea of somebody who starts like a $1 trillion war just so that he could like fulfill his weird like religious destiny or something like that. I don't know. For some reason, I'm like, good for you, man.
Yeah.
You did that. You did that, and
yeah, because it's not real.
I guess, yeah, because it's not real. Because when it's real, it's actually horrifying.
That's really hard. When I was a kid, it would have definitely been Yoda. Now I think it's probably Qui-Gon. I like him a lot.
Fucking Qui-Gon.
You son of a bitch! I thought I was gonna be unique, and you had to take Qui-Gon from me. You
You'll just
bastard!
edit it before me.
You bastard! Now I gotta change it. Thanks a lot. I gotta change it. I was gonna be fucking unique.
This is all Qui-Gon's fault.
Oh, it's all Qui-Gon's fault.
Validating Johnny's hate of Qui-Gon.
Oh my god.
I love Qui-Gon. Oh my god.
I love Qui-Gon.
I don't hate him, but
he's my favorite Jedi. You know what?
No, absolutely. He's the best. He's the model Jedi.
I can change my answer because I can just say he's my favorite Jedi because I'm going to be honest with because probably my favorite character is a different character. So I was going to say Qui-Gon though.
Model Jedi.
My favorite character, Qui-Gon is my favorite Jedi, and so I want to say that. But if I'm going to be realistic about it, my favorite character would be Luke, and it's because of the journey he goes on and the journey that's coming up. I think that he goes from the wide-eyed farm boy who wants to, become something bigger, and then he becomes something much bigger than he ever imagined. And he transforms so much that he throws his sword down at the end when he has victory in his hands. He doesn't want it. He never really wanted. He wanted to be a hero, but he didn't want to be the kind of hero who has to kill his own father. And I love that. I love that about him. Even though he has every opportunity to do it, he doesn't do it. And so I think I have to say Luke over Han, even though as I've gotten older, Han, right now, probably I would say there's nothing I am happier about than knowing that Harrison Ford is in this next movie and he's going to be a big part of the movie. That is probably the thing that gets me jazzed up more than anything, that Harrison Ford is fucking happy as fuck right now. That he's in The Force Awakens, and I've never seen this guy this happy. I've been watching him now for 30-some years, and he looks happier than ever in every interview. So then what is your list? All 6 movies. Gun to your head.
Well, I'm going with Jedi as number 1. For more of what really enthralled me was the space battles. That whole final space battle with the Death Star and the Falcon flying at you. And I had a couple of friends who had a larger screen television, and to see that on somewhat of a bigger screen, it just kept me coming back for more and more. And it's always a screensaver for me. All right, then I go Empire number 2, Phantom Menace number 3. I really enjoy the Phantom Menace.
Right.
I know it's not considered probably the best prequel out there.
Well, it is. It is. Anybody who's listening to this podcast knows it is.
I love it, and there's too many pros for any of the cons out there, and
I agree.
And then I go down to A New Hope and Revenge of the Sith, and then I go down to Attack of the Clones for my last one. I just felt that Jango Fett was very bland for me. He didn't come off as badass and as threatening as I thought he should be in that galaxy. Yeah. But then again, from somebody being somewhat of a Boba Fett fan in the background, I still think getting to see the Mandalores at all involved was wonderful. But
I agree with you mostly on Jango, but that one scene between Obi-Wan and Jango in
that was a great scene.
What a great scene. And the fight too. It could have been a little better, but I still think that those two sequences between them, their dramatic confrontation and then their action-packed confrontation, are the 2 best things in Attack of the Clones.
Top, I'd have to say, is Revenge of the Sith. No matter how many times I watch it, I want the ending to change. I want the good guys to win.
You're still rooting for him. That's awesome.
I'm still rooting for the Jedi to win. There's a part of me that every time I watch it, I want the ending to change. I want the good guys to win. I want evil to be vanquished. Because, I'm sure we've all seen the photo of the Anakin what could have been story. Strikes down Sidious. He grows up with Luke and Leia.
Yeah, by Dan Hipp, I think, is the artist who drew that. That's great.
Yep. So I'd have to put that one's definitely tops. Second, I'd have to say A New Hope. It's the one that started it. It's the one that got me hooked.
Right.
After that, I'd have to say Empire. It's definitely the one I've watched the most. Phantom Menace after that, and then Jedi and Episode 2 after that.
Magnus, don't hate me, because even the bottom of my list is still near and dear to my heart, and I love them all. Okay.
Okay.
Jedi is my favorite because my favorite character is Luke, and seeing where he ends after this journey, it's kind of obvious. I think that is my favorite. Empire, I like behind that because it's just an amazing story. There's so much that goes on. All of the characters, not just Luke, but all of the characters go through so much change, and things are pushed forward so much. And then after that, it's just basically preference, I think, just what I enjoy the most. Right. There's Jedi and then Empire and then New Hope. Revenge of the Sith is my favorite of the prequels, not just because of the transition into the original trilogy, but I feel like there's the most at stake with that movie.
True.
And any decision that's made has the most impact, and I'm pulling for all the characters for their own reasons. And of course, even with Anakin, I don't want Padme to die either. I feel bad for him. I wish he didn't make the decisions he did, but I'm also not in that situation. And then it comes down to Attack of the Clones and the Phantom Menace. And I thought about this one for a while, actually. Like, which one would I like better? And I think the only reason I went with Attack of the Clones better is because the training. Seeing the training that Anakin's going through, seeing Obi-Wan change from the Padawan to now instructing Anakin. Just that time shift, I like a little bit better, and just like the fact that Anakin and Obi-Wan are together, they're a team now.
Okay, so New Hope's my favorite. Probably then Empire Strikes Back, Attack of the Clones, The Phantom Menace, Revenge of the Sith, and Return of the Jedi.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
5, 4, 6. No, 5, 4, 3, 6, 1, 2. 5, 4, 3, 6, 1, 2.
5. So Empire, A New Hope, Revenge of the Sith.
Yes. Then Jedi.
And
Phantom Menace. Then Clones.
Okay. Wow. Interesting.
I'm with, I think it's something like 80% of the general population that thinks, Empire Strikes Back is the best film.
Yeah.
It's the most popular choice, to me, it always has it. I mean, it has everything. The opening scene is amazing. It just puts you right into like the Battle of Hoth.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't even really slow down. And then when you just think it's getting slow, it's like, hello, there's Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get sucked into learning about the Force. And then you get into this whole chase sequence, and then boom, Boba Fett. And then it gets like really dramatic and sad when Vader kind of double crosses Lando, and then everyone gets captured. Oh, and another main reason why Han Solo is one of my favorite is that door opens and Lord Vader's across from you. It's like, fuck you, dude. I'm Han Solo. I'm drawing in your shit. I'm gonna like empty a clip on your ass.
It is
Like,
actually maybe the coolest scene in the entire saga.
Yeah,
True.
People would be like, oh shit, Vader. Han's like, I'm gonna empty a clip on this motherfucker. See what happens.
That's why when people talk about Han shoots first or whatever, and it destroys his character, I'm like, it doesn't matter because he fucking draws like a badass on
Yes.
Vader.
No.
Right.
Absolutely.
And then you have the epic Vader, just showing off with the Force, just throwing shit at Luke. Luke's basically just helpless.
Yeah.
Vader's screwing with him. Then obviously the iconic "I am your father" moment.
Yeah.
And then you really have to really sit down with me and convince me that episode 5 isn't the best. I mean, there's just too much awesome in it.
Yeah.
And then I go episode 4. A lot of it's nostalgia. It's the first one. Alec Guinness, in my opinion, to date, is the most talented actor ever to act in a Star Wars film. And then when he's on scene, he just eats it up. He just eats up the screen, and he's amazing. And then obviously, you just learn about the universe that Lucas created. So that's why 4, is going to be number 2 for me. And then, dude, Revenge of the Sith is a great movie from top to bottom. It's the only it has its faults, but it's really a well put together film. And then right behind that, I have Return of the Jedi, and they're very close. And maybe if it wasn't for the fucking Ewoks, I would have, Return of the Jedi ahead of Revenge of the Sith, but I don't. And then Phantom Menace, again, I love like 45 minutes of that movie. And then I'm like, okay, with the other like 45. And then Attack of the Clones, even though I still like it, I would have to put it, towards the bottom because it's just, I never really got into the whole middle of the film. The middle, it opened well for me. It closed really, really well. The whole Yoda, Dooku, Anakin, Obi-Wan, it closed, excellent. The Mace Windu stuff was, I thought, this party is over. I'm just like, ah.
Yeah, no,
so
I agree
bad.
with that. Yeah.
And then the Anakin Padme romance thing, just I didn't think it was needed. I would have believed it if it was just like a lustful relationship. They didn't really need to like try and convince the audience they were falling in love.
All right, so Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
Because just because of all the aforementioned reasons.
Mm-hmm.
A New Hope, Return of the Jedi, Revenge of the Sith, Attack of the Clones, and The Phantom Menace. Just have to say that I really like Attack of the Clones for the Camino scenes, because that really, for some reason, like turned me on in a weird way. I really dug the visual effects in that. I really liked the Caminoans. I really liked finding out the mystery of the clones. I really liked, Obi-Wan's detective work. Yeah. I really liked the fight scene between him and Jango Fett. And for some reason, that just really did it for me. Like that whole movie, like that whole like Camino sequence, I just dug that.
The ones I think are the best movies isn't necessarily the one that I recall most fondly. Mm-hmm. And I think the one I enjoy the most thinking about and remembering is Return of the Jedi, then Phantom Menace, then Empire, then Revenge of the Sith, and then A New Hope, and then Attack of the Clones.
Okay, so my list of favorite movies, God, like I was so sure before we went into this, but I'm gonna go with Empire will probably always be my favorite. Then after that is Return of the Jedi, probably because it was the the first movie I saw at the premiere day, then it's kind of a toss-up. I think I'm going to say A New Hope because of its importance in the saga, and then Phantom Menace, Revenge of the Sith, and Attack of the Clones. And Phantom Menace actually comes down to what Jared was saying. It's about the emotions tied to it. And I went to see that with all my friends, and then that entire week we went to see it every night because they actually had it on 24/7. And we would go out drinking, we get fucking wasted, and then go see the Phantom Menace at 3 or 6 in the morning or something like that. And we get our refill popcorns, and then we go back and watch it again. So I saw it 17 times that first week. So, I mean, it was just crazy. And I have such great memories. What is your anticipation of The Force Awakens? Do you have a checklist of things that have to happen? Or is it more just an emotional thing? Like you want something to trigger something? Like what is it?
Mostly, I can say that it's definitely a physical emotion that I'm going to be searching for. But it's also an emotional and maybe even physical connection to the new person in my life, which is my son, who's, almost 2 years old. He jumps up and cheers for Star Wars when he hears the music on already, and then he finds the Star Wars apps on the iPad and on my phone, and so getting him, seeing that he's already anticipating, and he doesn't even know what the hell it is,
yeah,
but he's anticipated for it, and Jared's met my son, and he's seen it. So
you said he reacted to my BB-8 shirt. Like he like when we met, he was like, "Oh, he's an old friend," because I was wearing my BB-8 shirt. And
oh wow!
Precisely. We have BB-8 here at the house. We bought him. We got the really nice one, and he loves playing with that guy and watching him roll around and whatnot. And even now, I think the soccer ball that we got for him kind of reminds him of BB-8. But getting back to the original question, I've never really been as anticipated before, even for the Phantom Menace, I would say.
Yeah.
I think I know, seeing all the teasers and all the TV spots, I think official teaser number 2, where we get Chewie, we're home at the end, is really the best one for me, coming for new footage. And I think for me it was put together with the music at the moment where you see Finn and the starfighters in the Star Destroyer's launching bay, where there's the TIE fighters being blown up, and there's one in the air, and Finn pulls off his helmet and he's breathing hard. That music coupled with those scenes right there, showing me that new footage along with that Captain Phasma, is that really hit home for me and gave me those feelings that I would get when you see that opening crawl. And again, that anticipation has driven me to actually, hey, I'm going to go out of town and I'm going to go watch this with a group of other like-minded people who I know are going to love this as much as I do.
Yeah.
And I get to bring my kid in tow. And so I would just say I'm probably over the moon. I know we're not going to get JJ on the next one. We're going to get Rian Johnson. I love his work. So bring it on. And each one is going to have its own flavor. It is going to be its own thing. And I'm really looking forward to this. Bring it on. That's all I can say. Bring it on.
Prior to the acquisition and the announcement, all we were looking at getting was the 3D films.
Yeah, that's right.
And while we've been talking, I went back on IMDb and looked. Episode 1 came out in 3D in 2012. So if they did one a year, we would have had episode 4 this year. And we'd be looking at episode 5 next year.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, because I remember going to see episode 1 in 3D and going, and being like, all right, let's see how this looks. It was filmed in 98. We'll see how that. But and coming out going, you know what, that was actually pretty good. And thinking, we'll have these to carry us over for the next few years, and we'll see what happens from there. And then Disney blew all that out of the water. It's insane to think of that.
Where do you think, after going through your top 6 list, where is your heart asking to place The Force Awakens before you even see it?
I mean, just the sheer fact that we're getting one when we never thought we would. Top 3.
I really think is going to do that. So I think you're safe there. So, Tim.
Yes.
Tell us, what is your anticipation level for The Force Awakens? Sorry, that was Shami dying at the end of in Attack on the Clones.
I'm at peak capacity because for me, all the stars are lining up for this. Originally, before any of this happened, before Disney bought Lucasfilm, J.J. Abrams is probably my favorite modern storyteller, not just for his directing or screenplay writing, but he does so much more even beyond that.
Yeah.
He's like one of my Hollywood idols. So when he initially turned down the job, I was like so disappointed, and I was like, no, that would have been perfect. But that just made it all the much sweeter when he came back and accepted it.
Right.
But we got him. We've got what seems to be an amazing new cast. From what I've seen of Oscar Isaac and Adam Driver, they're some of my favorite new actors. I haven't seen Daisy Ridley or John Boyega that much, but I'm really looking forward to the actors. The screenplay, my two favorite, as we said before, my two favorite Star Wars movies are Jedi and Empire, which were written by Lawrence Kasdan. I'm a huge soundtrack nerd, and John Williams is obviously my favorite anyway, specifically his Star Wars music, so knowing he's going to come back and get another crack at those is amazing. Everything, and by the way, Luke, my favorite character, he's in it. So everything for this is lining up for me to be what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So I'm really at peak capacity. I can't wait to see it go down. But as far as where I expect it to go on my list of favorites, I'm a staff writer at Making Star Wars, so I'm fairly up to date with the spoilers and such. And I'm very confident that it will be at least number 3 on my list.
Yeah.
At least.
I think it could become my favorite. It's different seeing them after they've already been out, and it's different seeing through the whole process of it, knowing when it got announced, and seeing the casting picture, and then seeing all the teasers and the trailers. It's been really exciting, and getting to read the spoilers and stuff, and kind of piece things together. I don't know, I think it's gonna be really good.
Well, this is the first one that you are basically going to see brand new.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Great. Yeah.
So I'm excited.
So you think this is going to be the best then?
Yes, I think so.
I like that answer.
I'm actually a little turned off right now by all the constant teasers and TV spots and posters, and I've actually taken about a week break, and I'm gonna continue that break until I go see the movie Thursday night. I've avoided the trailers and the TV spots. If it's on, I'll change the channel because I'm already there. I got it. I can only go down from here. I'm already wanting to see the movie. And now it's I don't want to say I'm seeing too much, but I can almost get turned off. When I first saw Titanic, I loved it. I was like, oh my God, what a good movie. And then when everyone loved Titanic, I was like, it was all right. It's it's just sometimes it's just my weird personality.
No, but we call it the Avatar effect, which was, if you remember,
I hated that movie.
Well,
That movie
most
sucked.
people, I love that movie, first of all, but most people were when that movie came out, they were like, oh, what a great movie. And then every single person I know now who went to see it 3 or 4 times hates it now. And it's I'm the only person left that I know who actually is nah, I like that movie. It's not as good as I remember it being because I watched it recently and I was like, oh wow, that is cheesy as fuck. Gut feeling, where do you think after you come out of the theater, first or second viewing, it's gonna sit on that list for you?
Yeah, it'll probably take me about even around home video. Just a real quick to give you perspective. When I saw The Phantom Menace, I loved it. I was like, oh my God, it was amazing.
Yeah.
This guy, Darth Maul, the lightsaber battle was the best fight ever. And it was. It probably still is. And I loved it. And then around the 5th or 6th time I watched it, I was like, wow, that Jar Jar's annoying. This is really boring, this whole Trade Federation shit. Wow, these guys, they sound Asian. This is weird. And then, but it took 5 viewings. So after 5 viewings of The Force Awakens, I honestly think I'm going to put it, it's either going to be right after New Hope or right after, which would be my third favorite, or it would be my fourth favorite, which would be right after Revenge of the Sith.
Right. And then it might build up over time if it
but
if it
when
sits
I
well.
walk out of the theater, I'm gonna call you up and be like, Magnus, best Star Wars film ever.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
Okay, so within the context of having seen all these movies, I would say that I'm anticipating it, but not thinking I'm gonna go absolutely batshit crazy over it. Within the context of me being bored out of my mind this winter and not having much to do, I can't wait. I'm freaking out. I'm getting like cat scratch fever, like just wigging out, waiting to see this movie. In the grand scheme of things, I think it's gonna be amazing. I think J.J. Abrams is gonna pull off something really fantastic. I think it's gonna be something that we all collectively haven't necessarily seen before, and we might need 2 or 3 watchings to adjust to. And I think we need to like prepare ourselves for that, because I think we might freak out a little bit after the first showing. I think like the first time I see it, I think I'm going to be like, okay, so what did I just watch? Like, how does this fit in? Like, what exactly the fuck was that just now? Oh my God. And I'm gonna need like, 3 or 4 drinks to like straighten out, and then I'll see it again, and I'll be like, okay, this is how it integrates into the grand scheme of things, and like, I'm okay with this. It'll take a little while, but I'm definitely psyched, because I'm really, this is the new content.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put it last for now, because it really truly is unfamiliar territory.
Okay.
And I really have no, I mean, and I've read every spoiler. I pretty much know the plot. The way it fits in is it fits in by not fitting in. So that's what makes it more difficult to quantify.
That's good. I like that answer.
I keep thinking I've maxed out. Like, I thought I maxed out, like, at Celebration. I was like, this is the most I'm ever going to be excited for this movie. This is amazing.
Yeah.
And then not every single teaser and trailer, but, like, every week something drops. One of the Chinese trailers or something where I'm like, holy shit. I didn't even think it was possible. Like, seriously, it's a joke how much more excited I am. And in fact, right after we got off yesterday, I realized, like, never in my life has my insomnia been as fucked up as it is right now, except for like springtime. A lot of times it really kicks in bad. I'm like, why in the winter can I only sleep like 3 hours a night? What's happening? And it's anticipation for this fucking movie. The last 3 weeks, it's kicked my insomnia into high gear, because it's just like, just happen already. Just happen so you can stop thinking about it. And I'm for the answer I gave for experience, I'm hoping 3. Like, I don't think it's gonna beat Return of the Jedi, knowing that I went opening weekend with my family, even though I can't remember it all. Just knowing that happened, and it can't beat Phantom Menace, because of my age and because of the experience going with my brother. But I feel like the build up I've had and the experience I've had getting to know everybody, all of you and everyone else online, and I feel like that's going to at least make it a contender. Or even if on 18th viewing I'm like, this is the worst Star Wars movie I've ever seen, I feel like at least it's probably still going to be one of my favorite experiences.
My anticipation level for The Force Awakens is that it's going to be my favorite, and that after I see The Force Awakens, I will break my DVDs of all 6 of the other movies, because they're pieces of dirt crap, because that's how good The Force Awakens is. Mind you, that's also how I go into every romantic relationship. I'm like, this is the one where I'm going to forget that last girl, It never works out that way, but that's...
Aquarius.
Yeah, that's right. I go in fucking ready to burn, and I'm ready to go. I'm going into The Force Awakens ready to fucking burn. Like, it's either going to be the greatest thing ever, or I'm going to be disappointed, but I'll still like it. I can't even imagine that I won't like it. It'll be, like, worst case scenario, it'll be 3rd on my list, but I don't believe that. I think it's going to be number 1.
No, I think it's going to be amazing. I just think it's going to be a different kind of amazing.
Maybe. No, I think it's going to be very different from the other 6, and I think some people are not going to be prepared for it, but I am. And the only thing that my only regret, I think, is going to be that I don't get to see it with Jules.
Oh. Oh.
How high is the total gross going to be?
All right, so we'll do. Yeah, I think that's a good one. Let's do first day, because I can you look that up, Jared? What is the
Josh
record?
just did.
The
Josh
highest,
had a-
according to Box Office Mojo, highest opening day, single day gross is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, just over $91 million.
What?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Holy shit! I thought the first day was going to be like 50 million.
That 50 million would put you at 30th place.
Holy shit! You sure?
Insane.
Next to
Really?
Shrek 4.
All right, so we want to guess. So we're gonna go with now. Again, we need that number. The highest ever single day is.
Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. I'll give the full number.
Okay.
$91,071,119.
And then the weekend record is 8 million. Jurassic World. We have that around 90 million for the first day, and 208, let's say.
Yep.
So where do you think? We'll start with Nick. Where do you think The Force Awakens is going to land in those two categories? First day and weekend.
Well, I think we're all right, and it's going to shatter first day, and I'm going to go at like 137
Wow.
first day. I'm going to go for broke here. And then for a weekend, why not go at around 250? About 250 for the weekend.
Wow. Oh, I should mention, this is actually something we only before. I mean, you may not want to change your number after I say this, but a lot of people expected that it was going to be in the most theaters ever. It's only going to be in 3,900 theaters, which is not as many as Jurassic World was in, which I think was in 4,500 or.
According to Box Office Mojo, it was in 44,274.
On that first weekend?
Yeah.
All right, so it was in over 300 more theaters that first weekend. All right, so just throwing that out there, but obviously it also didn't sell out every
We're
theater.
gonna have more. I think people see it more than once in that opening day too.
137, 250. Sticking with
Yes, I'm sticking
right.
with it.
that. Josh.
I'm going to say 105 opening night.
Okay.
And I'm going to say...
Opening day.
Opening day, yeah, opening day. I'm going to say 225.
225. Okay. And you, Tim?
So opening day, I'm gonna say 127.
I think we just got Price's Right going.
Yeah.
Drew Carey, where are
I'd be
you?
that guy.
And weekend, I'll go up to, because why not? I'm really bad at this, but what the heck? 260.
Wow. All right.
I have
Real
faith.
high.
Woo. Crazy. You
But one thing for
crazy,
sure,
son.
I am not
Your
going to
move, James
underestimate. I'm not going to be the one who underestimated this movie.
Jared.
Oh man,
What is
That's
yours?
that's a hard. I'm gonna be what Tim doesn't want to be and probably underestimate it.
You're gonna be like J.J. Abrams, practical?
I'm a positive guy, but I also am a realist, and I see all the time people disappoint me, and all the time
Oh, that's so sad.
people are super screwed up. Like I love our community, and if I thought that it was resting on the shoulders of the Star Wars fan community, I think it would be number one. But people are nuts, and they like awful shit. And
Wait a
I don't
minute.
know.
Are you worried about Alvin and the Chipmunks?
no, I am not worried about any.
The Reckoning or whatever the
Road
fuck
Trip.
that movie's. Oh, is that
No,
what it's called?
This is going to do phenomenally well, but will it beat Jurassic World? I'm not sure, because I remember when Avatar came out and it blew away all winter records ever and blew away summer records, and it was unheard of.
No movie's ever made 100 million in the first weekend in December. Ever.
Oh, and that's
Ever.
already that's almost
That's already done. in
unless
pre-sales.
lightning strikes every theater in America at once. That's happening. So.
Yeah. So what is your number, Jared? What is your number? Single day
I'm
and
gonna be
weekend.
super conservative for Thursday Friday combo. I'm gonna say just a little over 100, and for total, what's Jurassic World at? Is it 205, 204?
It's either 208.
I'm gonna put it right around there. I'm gonna say between 212 and 225.
I am actually like huge on box office numbers. So single day, 116 million, and I mean, I really, I'm gonna say 230 that first weekend, and it really could make 300 million, even with only in 3,900 theaters. It could make 300 million if it like kills on Saturday.
According to Box Office Mojo, highest December opening weekend gross for a movie, The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey,
Interesting.
84.6 million.
84. Okay, so not even 90 million.
Not even 90.
So if you think about it, if it does 250 million, it's going to be 3 times the biggest before it. Johnny, single day, what do you think?
114.
114?
Opening day, 225 weekend.
Ooh, good one. Okay. Jules, what do you think? Single day and weekend.
From Thursday to Sunday is gonna make probably like 215 for the weekend.
And how about that single day, the first day?
150.
Listen, if you're right, you're going to be the first one to call 150 million, and
What
you're
do
going
I
to sell
win? What do I win? What do I win?
a date with Johnny Grasso. Sorry, Johnny, I put you on the spot.
I've already had a date with Johnny Grasso.
Fine, you get a date with me. Johnny, what did you want to bring up?
Yeah, on December 28th, I will be in New York City in Discovery Times Square, covering the Power of Clothing. It's the Star Wars line.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be covering it for MakingStarWars.net. Discovery Times Square Power of Costume exhibit. It's the entire line of clothing, and I think C-3PO and R2-D2 and BB-8 are going to be there. Pretty much all that stuff. So I'll be also periscoping. So if you don't have my Periscope, I'm talking to our dozens of listeners. No, Johnny_Grasso14. I'll be periscoping there, and I'll be writing about it. So look for that on MakingStarWars.net. Like I said, I'll be there Monday the 28th, periscoping live. So within the 24-hour window Periscope gives you, check it out. I'll be obviously taking pictures. I'll be periscoping live streams, and some of the things that they're going to have there are as follows. The display includes costumes from the new film, the menacing black mask of Vader, the gilded suit of C-3PO, the lavish royal gowns of Queen Amidala, and the bikini worn by Princess Leia when enslaved by Jabba the Hutt.
Anything else going on over there that anybody needs to promote?
Well, I'd say to check out the similar extra people, filled with guests, pre-Force Awakens extravaganza on Force Children.
Oh wait, are we wrapping up? Goodbye.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Outtakes. I go into everything. I don't do anything because I think it's going to be number 2. I do everything thinking it's going to be number 1. I'm a romantic. I want to burn. I don't want to fucking, I don't want to chill. I want to burn.
Yeah, Ricky Bobby, if you ain't first, you're last.
That's right. If you ain't first, you last. Second place is just the first loser.
On there. And there.
What the hell?
What's going on?
Hi.
Go for it.
Sorry.
No worries. That is my niece.
Hi.
She I think, is much more thrown than I am.
Guess I gotta edit that one. That's on me. I'm a bad host. But Jared is a producer, so he's a bad producer. Always remember, the host always blames the producer. That's how that works.
True. I've seen that a lot.
I learned that from Howard Stern. Yes, please be Artie Lang. Go do the heroin right now.
Well,
yes.
gotta get this dead hooker off me first.
Oh, great. We actually do have Artie Lang here. You look like a much healthier, younger Artie Lang.
This is before I got into the hookers.
Oh, God. You almost sound like him, too. After all this, after going through all this, listening to everyone else, your anticipation level. Although when I edit this, I'll put you first, just to fuck with it. And they'll be like, why was he so hostile? I don't get it. Like, everyone else is so amiable, and him just comes in hostile.
He's an angry opener.
Yeah, his first credit is as Jeffrey Abrams. as for score. And I forget the name of the movie. It's some terrible 80s movie. But that was, and he was like in high school when he did it or something like that.
He's still doing it though. His the show he produced, his Person of Interest, he composed the title sequence for that.
Yeah. So JJ understands like composition, and he understands like the important. And we saw that if you all seen the 60 Minutes thing or the preview for the 60 Minutes thing, you see him talking about like how long to hold a certain note because of, you know, he knows how the pictures, how long the transition is and all that stuff. I think that's amazing, and I don't think George was ever that involved.
I was fortunate enough once to meet and speak with Michael Giacchino, who, of course, did the music for the Star Trek movies with JJ.
Yeah.
And he said that JJ is the most amazing director to collaborate with on movies. He told a story about how in the opening sequence of the 09 Star Trek, when Kirk's, you know, spoiler if you haven't seen it, Kirk's dad dies in that big battle. He said originally that whole sequence was heavy action when they put the temp music in.
Yeah.
And it's because there's this big battle and all that. And Giacchino said, I watched it and I thought, you know, this is so sad right now. I feel bad that this guy's dad's about to die, sacrifice himself.
Wasn't that Chris
all
Hemsworth
that.
too? That was his dad?
Yeah, it was Chris Hemsworth.
Thor.
And he said, so I feel really sad right now. He said, so I called JJ and I said, hey, I'm feeling really sad. Can I do it slow? And JJ said, sure, I trust you. So they did it that way.
Yeah.
But
you know, consistently, Jedi Council gets like 50,000, 60,000 per episode. And that's not, I don't even know like if there's any other way that they distribute that other than on YouTube. But those are just the numbers we can see. And so the fact that they get everything wrong just means that the general public has no fucking clue what's happening. Like they're the ones that have been saying Plagueis. They're the ones that actually started, or they didn't start it, but they disseminated the whole Luke or Kylo Ren is Luke Skywalker
Luke thing,
all that. Like they didn't come up with it, but they said it enough that all of a sudden it just exploded. So the Jedi Council is really, I mean, look, this show is fun, but I mean, they've so far gotten everything wrong. So they haven't got. I can't think of a single thing they got right, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing for Lucasfilm. That's probably why they got invited to the premiere.
Well, maybe they're just afraid to call him out because they're thinking maybe I'll be on the podcast one day and I'll be up there talking about it. But if I call them out, they won't be my friends anymore.
You know what? He's right. I think that's what it is.
That's true too.
No, I do. I think everyone believes that one of these days I'm going to be famous too, and I don't want to burn any bridges. And I'm old. You know, I'm 62. So I don't care. I burn bridges left and right. I don't give a flying fuck, man. Hell, I actually thought about naming this podcast "Burning Bridges," but you know, Jared talked me out of it.
That's in the final edit. You making it up. So
he's the producer, so you
got
gotta
that
go
one
with
on.
it.
Yeah,
you got that one on record.
That's on record. That
You made that one up as we were talking.
Yeah. Oh what? Oh what? You saying I just made that up, Jared?
You did. And I know from your excellent memory that you know.
You make things up? What?
What? You saying that I made it up, man? Like I made up the Snoke is Nemodian? No. Whatever.
Joke's on you. Snoke is boss ass.
No. Here's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be you're gonna take all the different Sith users throughout the years, and they're all gonna combine like Voltron or the Transformers to create Devastator. One big ultra.
Hasbro any ideas.
That's what it is. And I feel it's just the ultimate trolling is to ruin someone else's experience.
Yeah, and we've taken steps with it's just I think this past week there was an article we put up, and when we tweeted out the link, the picture that automatically generated with it was something we didn't want people to see, so we had to figure out how to switch that. Amanda, Corey, and I were working on that. Yeah. And we were able to switch that around because, you know, like you said, you know, we respect people who they just don't want that. We're not going to push it down their face or down their throats.
Yeah. They'll wait for one thing to disprove it. Like there'll be one little thing that will change, and they'll be like, "See, making Star Wars was wrong," and you're like, "But." They were right about 99% of the movie. Yeah, but that 1% though, it proves their sources are not as reliable as they think they are. They're so overconfident.
Why don't you start recording?
I thought I didn't realize that was part of my job as a producer. I thought I was just supposed to get everyone here.
Wow. I'm so glad I realized that before this
Yeah,
guy.
no. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and you would have figured it out after the first person, but then we would have gone all the way through.
Andy and I have secret DM conversations on Twitter sometimes. He doesn't tell you about that, does he, Katie? We have a history.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, secret history, though. Nobody knows about it.
Aw.
Is that your new spoiler site? MakingWaffles.com.
MakingWaffles.com with Johnny Grasso. Did anyone else think she was going to say because she's a great lay? I can't be the only one who thought that you were going to say that.
Nobody. I wasn't going to say that.
Sorry.
I would never.
No, you would. That's why I thought you were going to say that. I seriously thought you were going to say because she's a great lay. Once more, the Sith will rule the galaxy. And then we shall have peace.
Oh, all right. I guess I have to believe you now.
You're gonna fight me. Fucking, I'll take you on.
All right.
I've checked the proof, and it all checks out.
Yeah, I will fight.
The math adds up.
I am such a feminist that I will fight a woman. I really wish, as producer of the show, you would have brought this to my attention, because I would have then changed the question. Because that is actually a really good point. Because that's going to change my answer a little bit, what you just said. Because you're right.
Because you asked what we thought the best one was.
Yeah, but I just thought about it. Maybe I should. Well, it's too late now. We've already, so you ruined it with your answer. But everyone else, went in with good faith that we knew what we were doing.
Look at what you've done now.
Yeah, you
turned the tables.
bastard.
I thought.
Did you just say right after we got off together?
Oh, shit.
Maybe. I might have.
Jared, you horn-toed you.
Who are you talking about?
I will disavow any knowledge of this.
What were you guys doing?
The recording after we finished the other session yesterday.
No, I mean you say that now, but I think I thought.
It on.
You caught me in a word trap of my own making.
We got it on.
See,
I'm not. We were just talking about it. I'm not capable of passive aggression. It's very upfront. I'm not subtle.
I'm only capable of aggression. So
yeah.
if something happened, you'd hear about it. I'd be tweeting all over the internet about it.
Well,
I'd be like, I just fucked Jared. No, I would not actually do that. I'm not that guy.
See, that would offend me as a mistress of innuendo. So as soon as I heard Jared say that, I was just like, what?
No, first of all, if Jared and I had sex, I would never tell anyone about it. Not because I was ashamed, but because it's between us. And my anticipation level. I've
been drinking. I've been drinking.
Yeah.
Oh, she's drunk. That's why.
What are you doing?
She's drunk. Don't worry, that's edited out of the podcast. What are you doing, Johnny? What are you doing? Why is Johnny making kissy faces in the camera?
Now
He's doing it for you.
Before he was checking shit out.
If I don't eat salads, I don't take my shirt off on podcasts.
Ooh.
It kind of goes hand in hand.
Same.
What? Somebody get Jules a fucking salad right now.